Tonight, Ontario's science table is calling for restrictions to reduce contacts and a rapid rollout of booster shots to slow the surge in COVID cases.
This will likely be the hardest wave of the pandemic.
New modeling shows without stronger measures and an accelerated booster campaign, cases could overwhelm ICUs by early next year. Plus,
this is a Christmas miracle. We could have had a completely different story tonight.
dozens of children and staff managed to escape without serious injury after an explosion at a Scarborough daycare. We'll bring you to the scene. And
we have never imagined, right? The CN Tower.
Pieces of debris falling from the CN Tower today after a glass panel broke due to heavy winds, alarming those below. Good evening, I'm Kelda Yoon. Ontario seeing a sharp increase in COVID-19 numbers today. It's something officials have been forecasting as the highly transmissible Omicron variant takes hold in the province. Now, Ontario recording just over 2,400 new infections. That pushes the 7-day average to just under 1,700 cases a day. That's a 60% jump from a week ago. There are 328 people in Ontario hospitals with COVID-19, with 165 of those in intensive care. Now, so far, officials say those numbers are only slowly increasing. Even so, new modeling from Ontario's science table suggests the number of people in intensive care could overwhelm the healthcare system within weeks. Now, to prevent that, they say further restrictions to limit contacts are needed, coupled with a big push to get booster shots into arms. Lorenda Redekop has more.
This will likely be the hardest wave of the pandemic.
Stark predictions as the science table returned for its first in-person modeling briefing in months. In a worst-case scenario, new cases could hit 10,000 a day this weekend. Even with their recommended circuit breaker, limiting contacts to 50%, cases could still rise to almost 5,000 a day by the end of December. They say without any extra measures, there could be more than 600 COVID patients in ICU before the end of the month. But there are still questions about the new variant. Even if Omicron is 25% less severe than Delta, ICU numbers could rise to almost 500. The government says the province is ready for an increase in admissions.
It does cause serious disease. Hospital rates have risen in South Africa, where it first took hold. It's not just a case of the sniffles.
But he says vaccinations alone aren't enough.
I believe we can do this without closing schools or shutting down businesses that have suffered during previous waves. But it will take serious restrictions that reduce contacts.
The Premier and Cabinet saw this modeling before they approved changes yesterday. So the projections don't take those extra measures into account. Ramping up booster doses, limiting capacity at large venues to 50%, and expanding access to rapid tests.
Any measures will help reduce, but they're not enough to really curb the rapid growth of the variant.
At this Toronto restaurant, they're going further than the province's measures, stopping indoor dining for now, moving to takeout only.
I have a chef who has a 1-year-old daughter. If he tests positive today, he has to isolate from his 1-year-old daughter over the holidays. I'm a primary caregiver to my mother who requires 24 care, so I'm thinking about that. Last thing I want is to test positive today and not to be able to care for her over the holidays.
She says it's easier for her to quickly implement changes, but would like the province to do more. The government says the chief medical officer will continue to review the data and act as needed to limit transmission and protect Ontarians. Lorenda Redekop, CBC News, Toronto.
There were long lines at malls across Toronto today. Hundreds of people hoping to get their hands on some rapid antigen test kits. Now, this comes one day after the province announced it is handing out about 2 million kits for free as part of a holiday testing blitz. Ali Chiasson has more.
Here just to pick up some rapid tests for me and my family, just to make sure everyone stays safe over the holidays.
Rapid tests can be a way to stop COVID in its tracks before it makes an appearance at your get-together.
Grandparents are the biggest concern right now, so we want to make sure that they stay safe and that we identify anything early on.
We're actually going to do Christmas a week early in case they lock down. So I want to make sure that I take the test before I go see family.
Just a day after the province announced it would be flooding malls, plazas and LCBOs with free rapid antigen tests, people started lining up early. This is Yorkdale Mall, Scarborough Town Centre,
I think it's good, but I think they need more of them.
Maybe, because many of the pop-up locations in the Greater Toronto Hamilton area ran out before noon. By 3 o'clock, the last one in Midtown at Canada Square ran out too. The province says most of the pop-ups will re-up the following day, with more locations coming online throughout the holidays. How will you know which ones, where to go, and when? Well, there's a Twitter account for that. @COVID Test Finders has been tweeting information about the different locations, from pop-ups to the LCBOs, how long the lines are.
Getting rapid test kits through the Ontario provincial pop-ups is an absolute frenzy.
Just like the initial mass vaccine rollout, this too is being compared to the Hunger Games. The founder of @COVID Test Finders, Dr. Dalia Hassan, says accessibility is still an issue.
We need to get these rapid tests into the hands of every resident and at the same time respect their time and respect what their socioeconomic status is. Many people couldn't even attend any of the pop-ups because they're doing business hours and they're working. Other vulnerable individuals don't want to be going to high traffic venues.
But those who can are.
Because they caught 2 cases at my granddaughter's school by using these rapid testing, then it does work to some extent to control it.
So these pop-ups aren't just happening at big malls and office towers and LCBOs. You can also get rapid tests at places like public libraries and transit hubs. More information on these different locations to come on the province's website throughout the holidays. And of course, there's always a Twitter account filling in the gaps. You can give @COVID Test Finders a follow today. Ali Chiasson, CBC News, Toronto.
The newest COVID-19 restrictions go into effect first thing Saturday morning, with seating capacity for all large venues cut to 50%. But a question remains: what happens to those who have already purchased tickets for those events? Greg Ross spoke with some of them today.
What's going through your mind right now after finding out that those tickets are canceled?
I feel gutted.
Gabriel Cross just found out late this afternoon that his Raptors tickets for the next 2 games have been canceled. He was flying in from Ottawa with his father this weekend specifically to see the Raptors in person.
Obviously, we don't live the closest, and so I was really excited to go, and it was obviously devastating.
What more can you say than that? It's disappointment, but this is the reality of living in the middle of a pandemic.
Nicholas LeConte had his Leafs tickets canceled for January 3rd.
I understand why they're doing it. You got to take the proper measures given the times. We want to get back to normal.
MLSE had to break the news to thousands of fans today.
Single ticket buyers, group buyers, pack holders are going to be refunded, unfortunately.
Tom McDonald is the vice president of ticket sales for MLSE. He says the majority of tickets are held by season ticket holders who will get to see some games but miss others.
We are going section by section, and every other season ticket member will get their seats for every other game through until mid-January.
It's not just sporting events that are affected. Concert halls like Massey Hall and several venues in the theater district are scrambling to refund tickets. It's also going to impact people who have made special arrangements to attend, like the Crosses, who are traveling from Ottawa.
There's the expense of the flight that had to be booked in advance, the hotel accommodations that were booked in advance. There's no opportunity to get a refund at this late juncture.
MLSE also has a WWE event and a Stars on Ice event scheduled in the next 2 weeks. At this point, they're still trying to figure out who will get to keep their tickets. Greg Ross, CBC News, Toronto.
Imagine seeing pieces of glass fall from high in the sky. That's what happened after a large glass panel from the CN Tower broke today, sending debris flying. Officials are blaming it on the wild winds that are whipping across the GTA. Natalie Collada shows us what happened.
We have never imagined, right? It's CN Tower, and we never thought it would happen.
It wasn't the adventure Rosalind Matthew was hoping to experience on her trip to the aquarium with her 3-year-old son.
While we were entering, there were already cops, and they didn't let us walk on the skywalk. They were like, there's a glass piece half broken, it might fall down, so it's for your security, you can go down. When we were entering the aquarium, there were several moms standing there, and they didn't know what to do. So I was like, the cops were helping them out to stay inside, or they had to run to the opposite side. We'll feel scared, afraid. Our priorities are families.
Police were called to the area this afternoon following reports of debris falling from the CN Tower. Glass fell from high up the see-through elevator shaft, smashing on the pavement below. Though no one was injured, passers-by were shaken.
That's too scary. If any tourist comes and if they are walking and it's happened, and it's very scary, and they are very responsible for this, so they need to take care of this.
Scary. Yeah, it's the safety is not it's our concern. So right now we just have to wait and see what happened.
I guess the winds are taking over.
A spokesperson for the CN Tower says it's still investigating exactly what happened, but says one of the glass panels on the elevator shaft was damaged because of the extreme wind. Environment Canada issued a wind warning today for Toronto, with strong winds predicted to gust up to 90 kilometers an hour through the evening. In the meantime, the area remains closed while the repair work is underway. Natalie Collada, CBC News, Toronto.
Meteorologist Nick Cernkovich joins us now with a first look at the forecast. And Nick, my windows were rattling all day. Definitely a very gusty one out there.
Yeah, no doubt about it, Kelda. We saw wind gusts in excess of 80 kilometers per hour in the city of Toronto. We had wind warnings in effect as well, but it did bring some warm temperatures. 17 degrees is what we peaked at in the GTA. Now, let me put that in perspective for you. The normal for this time of year, about 0.8, call it 1 degree. The normal low, about -7 degrees. Today, 17 degrees is a high. That was a record breaker, by the way. And then last night, a low of 12.5 degrees. I mean, incredible in terms of the temperatures that we've seen. It's all part of a Colorado low that's sweeping across. There's a cold front associated with it. Temperatures dropping into tomorrow. Cloud cover starts to develop again late day tomorrow. And then we've got snow. That's the blue that you see there on the forecast map. So from record-breaking temperatures to snow on the weekend. In between, though, we've got some nice weather in the forecast. -1 tonight, 5 degrees tomorrow with sunshine. I will time out that next system for you, tell you how much snow to expect coming up in just a bit.
Thanks so much, Nick.
You bet.
It's being called a Christmas miracle. Toronto firefighters were called to an explosion at a daycare in Scarborough just before 2 o'clock this afternoon. Now, fortunately, the children were not at their usual spot and managed to escape injury. Dale Manukduk reports.
The Sunshine Learning Center was the epicenter of an explosion this afternoon that could have been much worse.
You had 23 children and their supervisors and teachers in a subsequent unit, 2 units down, doing another activity at the time of the explosion.
Fortunately, no children were hurt. Fire officials say some adults were treated for very minor injuries on scene. Children were kept safe in a transit vehicle until they could be picked up by parents.
This is a Christmas miracle. We could have had a completely different story tonight had those 23 young children and their teachers and their supervisors been in that building. One of the more telling signs for me when I first arrived was looking at the number of little shoes that had been blown out into the parking lot.
The explosion happened in a strip plaza at 4679 Kingston Road East near Morningside Avenue. There is significant damage to a number of units. Some of the businesses include a condo office, a pizza place, and an African grocer. Crews cut gas and hydro to the building to stabilize the situation and eliminate risks to the community.
I've spoken to a number of the tenants and the other businesses that describe literally having materials fall on top of them while they were at work, feeling the walls shake.
Toronto Police, Toronto Fire Investigations Division, and the Office of the Fire Marshal are still on scene. I'm told that it will take a number of days to understand how this explosion occurred and what further assessments need to be done. Dale Manukduk, CBC News, Toronto.
The Supreme Court of Canada will not hear the appeal of a Toronto police officer who was convicted of assaulting a young black man. Constable Michael Theriault was sentenced to 9 months in jail in the beating of Devontae Miller in December 2016. Now, earlier this year, Ontario's highest court rejected Theriault's appeal, saying it found no errors in the trial judge's approach. During the trial, prosecutors alleged Theriault and his brother chased and beat Devontae Miller with a metal pipe, rupturing his eye in the process. Miller's family saying this afternoon, quote, "This criminal process has been a long and difficult road for our family, and we are glad that it is behind us." The City of Toronto has joined the City of Brampton in helping fund the legal battle against Quebec's controversial Bill 21, which allows civil servants who wear religious symbols at work to be fired or reassigned. Now, yesterday morning, Brampton Mayor Patrick Brown called on cities across Canada to do the same. In a tweet, Mayor John Tory says, quote, Toronto City Council has also repeatedly voiced its opposition to this bill. He's also encouraged other cities across Canada to join Mayor Brown's initiative. Welcome back. Toronto Police helped prepare and donate 15,000 holiday meals today as part of the city's ongoing efforts to tackle food insecurity.
It's really an honor and a blessing to be a part of, just a community collaborative effort. We definitely, being on the street, we see the need of having the basic necessities of food security.
The event marked a joint effort between officers and local organizations. A recent study from Food Banks Canada suggests even more Canadians will face food insecurity in the coming months. One of the organizers of today's event says it's been a struggle to keep up with demand, but it's an honor to be able to give back.
For somebody that was homeless and was hungry, it's a blessing. I feel blessed that I'm able to wake up in the morning and to think how many people can I feed today.
Today's meals were donated to food banks, shelters, and community centers and will be distributed among their clients. Earlier this year, Toronto resident Tony Colley launched an app for his company, B1 to Give, an Uber Eats-style food rescue program that combats food waste and food insecurity here in the GTA. Now, we caught up with Colley about his program's impact and how he's had to adapt to the pandemic.
All right. Grab this. We deliver food within 2-hour redistribution cycle, so everything that we collect within a 2-hour period is delivered to an end user. So once the pandemic hit, our business was forced to close because our clients were forced to close. But at that time, we also noticed that food insecurity became national news. So although the solution that we had was temporarily shut down, we knew that it was needed at this time and it was at the right time at the right place. So we continued on building the app to fruition and we launched the app. February 1st, 2021. We've just surpassed our 5,000 pound mark of food collected in the past few months, which adding that to our pre-pandemic totals takes us to over 17,000 pounds of food that we've diverted so far. Customers with hot food counters, convention centers, event venues, malls, anyone that has prepared food on site at the end of the day, those are the types of clients that we're targeting. Because we are now active again, our first rescue at Hotel X actually was 330 pounds of food. The first week we were there, we moved about 570 pounds of food, I believe, which was tremendous. That order actually came to St. Felix Center here on Fraser, as well as their location on Augusta Avenue. So that was really beneficial to us as well. So you can reach us at b1togive.ca. As you see here, it's phonetically it's b12give.ca, or reach out to us through Instagram, Twitter. We're always there. We're ready to hear from you, get your support, and move your food.
You're looking at a live shot of the Toronto skyline, mainly clear with a few cloudy periods overnight. Winds still pretty strong after an unseasonably warm day, currently 8 degrees in the city. Let's go back to Nick now with a look at your extended forecast. And Nick, temperatures still above seasonal tomorrow, but a change is coming.
Yeah, definitely. Now, tomorrow's temperatures are going to be mild at 5 degrees, but certainly cooler than what we saw today. And then into the weekend, we've got that snow to talk about. I mentioned that just a few moments ago. Here's a look at the weather headlines. Winds easing through the overnight, temperatures falling, and the weekend snowfall. Let's talk about the weekend snowfall. Exciting for the kids at heart. Maybe not so much for the parents trying to travel around and during the holidays. But anyway, here's a look at the system. Today's system passing through. We've got clear skies in behind it. Tomorrow, sunshine to start off the day. Into the later part of the day, though, high cloud cover starts to make its way through. This is our next weather system. As we move through Saturday morning, look for snowfall to begin across the GTA. Pretty much a daytime event throughout the day on Saturday. And we're looking at snow, this system generally to the south of us. Now, interestingly with this, because it is to the south of us, we've got this wraparound effect. So easterly winds off of Lake Ontario could mean that we'll see higher amounts of snow toward the west end of the GTA with a bit of lake enhancement. Generally speaking, though, this is what we're looking at in terms of accumulations. About 5 to 10 centimeters of snow, but again, I wouldn't put a ton of stock into these numbers. It will vary even within the city of Toronto itself, but 5 to 10 is a good number here. Winds are going to start to taper off as well. As we move through tonight, winds will taper. Tomorrow morning, still a little bit breezy, but by the afternoon, we'll see them down to about 10, maybe 15 kilometers per hour across the GTA. Forecast for southwestern Ontario tonight. Down below zero at -2 and generally clear skies. Still a little breezy though. And then tomorrow, sunny skies and much cooler for the southwest. And of course, even around the Golden Horseshoe, same story. Down around 0, -1, -2 across the GTA. And then tomorrow, highs to about 4, 5 degrees. And again, a fair deal of sunshine. Now, Saturday. That's the one we're looking at here. It is going to be a bit of a messy mix for us. We've got 5 to 10 centimeters of snow, -1, and it should stick around on the ground into Sunday. Monday, Tuesday, I think we'll start to see some melt. Those temperatures tip just above the 0 mark. Kelda.
Thanks so much, Nick.
You bet.
Finally tonight, it's been 2 decades since the first film of this sci-fi saga hit the theaters. Tonight, stars of The Matrix were on hand to unveil the anticipated 4th installment at the Canadian premiere.
I mean, it's an amazing film. Why? The cinema, the action, the design, the characters. You know, I think it's everything that you can hope for in a Matrix film.
The Matrix Resurrections taking over the screens at Scotiabank Arena tonight. Every single theater in the venue dedicated to the film's premiere with a sold-out crowd. Clearly, the saga's fan base is still going strong. That's our show for you tonight. Thank you so much for watching. Dwight Drummond has your next local newscast tomorrow at 6, and I will see you back here tomorrow night at 11. Have a great night, everyone.